Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health, intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation. It's the Thursday after dinner show. We thank you for taking some of your time tonight to hang out with us. We know Thursday night football's on, WNBA playoffs are on, but you choose to fly with us. Thanks for racking up those frequent flyer miles with the Misfit Nation and taking some of that time to be part of the Misfit Nation. Tonight we started on a solemn note, one we don't like to do, but due to the climate of our country, sometimes you have to do this stuff. We lost 4 officers since our last show. Senior police officer Alex Roberts, Houston Police Department, Texas. End of watch Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser, Northern York County Regional Police Department, Pennsylvania. End of watch Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Please keep these communities, their families, their friends, their fellow officers in your thoughts, your prayers as they go through this sudden change of life. We know every day they go out there and put on that badge and put on their weapons, on their belts. They go out there knowing that this could happen, but it's a fact that it did happen, and their families have to deal with the sudden change. So keep that in mind as you go through your day today and tomorrow and the rest of your time as they go through the struggle. Tonight, we have a real good guest. He worked for Microsoft for 14 years. Now is the founder and driving force behind Divergence Academy. He has redefined what it means to train the modern workforce from cybersecurity to cloud and AI. His programs equip veterans and career changers with mission-ready skills for the high-demand tech roles. So without further ado, let's welcome Sravan Ankaraju to the MisFitNation. Welcome.
Thank you, Rich, for having me on this podcast. And my heart goes, my prayers goes out to the family, fallen officers. Thank you for having me here.
I appreciate you coming on and being willing to share your knowledge and what you're doing to help people with the sudden change in careers, which a lot of people go through in life. That what do I want to do with my hands? And sometimes they wind up in the tech field, in a tech career, when they used to be just guys beating up cars or something else. Now, or soldiers coming out from being an infantryman. Now, let's do something a little easier, a little less stressful, like cybersecurity. Let's tell us a little more about you, from as far back as you want to go to how we got here.
No, thank you about that. So my career started way back in 1994 with Microsoft, and 14 years later, I would say 94 is when I started here in this country, and then in 2001 I joined Microsoft, got laid off, career transitioner, and I was getting into the workforce as a new member, recently losing job. I had a choice to make. It's just, hey, do I want to work for another company or start a business of my own? And so a few wise men said, try it out, see if it works for you, and if it works, continue with running a business, and if not, you can go back to workforce. Well, fortunately, a couple of years of hard work, we ran the business. We started out with 2 students, picked them up, working through flyers, distributing flyers at the grocery stores, putting them in a shopping carts. 2 students showed up, and next thing you know, 2 turned into 5, it turned into 10 turned into 20, and before we knew it, the 2 years were up, right? And so we were doing well. And 2 years is the time when the industry says you are here to stay, and you get to then apply for workforce benefits. Hey, you want to serve people and going through transition in state workforce centers. And then a year after, we got into VA benefits and VA GI Bill, VRNE, and all that stuff. So yeah, we had to spend 3.5, 4 years to just get to a point that we were now legit. Right? We are folks that we were going to help organizations out and people out. So it started out with one thing, right? How do I help folks in career transition, whether they are service members or they are senior working professionals? It did not matter. Everybody has an imposter syndrome. Hey, if you have spent 20 years, 25 years in one place, the next question is, am I ready? And am I allowed to be in a different place? Am I okay? So that fear of identity and coming back into workforce happens to everybody, and not just service members. But that's the part I think we excel in at Divergence, and is to kind of slow, steady, help them out in transitioning in them into IT, into tech. Cybersecurity just happens to be our goal. I don't want everybody here to just think cybersecurity is the only way. And by the way, I will tell you, Rich, that folks that come to Divergence they come from roofers, HVAC, plumbers. You got auto, mechanics, and you have truck drivers. We have folks that come from all walks of life.
Wow.
And what we say is, look, as long as you're motivated and you're willing to give your time and energy to learning, we're going to work with you and stay through the course. Our programs are 18 to 22 weeks long, and I would say 90% of them stay.
Wow, that is pretty good. That's a good, I guess, success rate to keep them enrolled and engaged in the school and the training. Because, like you said, with 2 years to get the legitimacy of the business to stay, you're going to stay around, to get someone to change what they're doing from being that roofer, being in HVAC, to go into something polar opposite, which basically is a soft skill or a hard skill on the computer tech wise, either cybersecurity, AI, or any other version of it. It takes 21 days of doing that every day, basically, to really get that habit down. And then to really stick with it, you have to put in an extra work. So you're doing good enough to get over 90% success rate to keep them in there. That's awesome.
No, appreciate that. It's not easy, and I know at least one student of ours who used to do a truck drop. He had his own fleet, and he drove all the way from Georgia to being in Dallas, and he would do a drop over the weekends, and I could see him studying and preparing for tests in the truck, right? And he would finish his class at Friday afternoon and then drive to Oklahoma and do a drop, come back on Sunday night and be there in the first 9 a.m. sharp in the classroom, and passed out with his Security Plus, Network Plus. I'm super proud of him, and there are lots of stories like that. That if you're driven, you can do it.
And it just takes that motivation to say, hey, I don't want to always drive this truck and be on the road for days on end away from my family or whatever I'm away from. To say, hey, I can sit in my house and provide these assistance to other people just from my house and a computer.
Exactly.
Find out what they're doing and see what's going on with their computer from my computer without even having to leave my house. And I think that's a big motivator for a lot of people these days.
Yeah, and it's not just that, his ability to just motivate others in the classroom, and that's also phenomenal.
That's always good to have someone that's showing the drive, literally driving to school and doing his job the whole time on other things, and driving there and showing that motivation to be there. And I'm sure you have a wide range of ages that go to the academy as well. So you have him already has a career and doing that switch while doing it. And they're saying, oh, if he can do this and working full time while driving that truck, I can do it too.
Yeah, we got the opposite side too. We had a program, and we just changed the name to, it's called GRC now, Governance, Risk, and Compliance. And we had folks that were CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers, going through a GRC program. So I would say about 15, 20 of them went through a program. So you have two opposite spectrums, right? You have folks that come and say, look, I'm a noob. I have just transitioned. I have an imposter syndrome. My body is hurting. To those that are being around and being officers in military and doing well as CISOs, saying, hey, I want to skill up. So we see both.
That's good. The scale up is another big thing for people too, because you always got to improve. You got to always learn. So even though you're a security systems officer, you still want to know what else is going on out there, and I guess strengthen your toolbox so that maybe the next job you get is a lot better and a lot different. Not much different, but a lot more responsibilities.
Ain't it crazy though? When we thought, yeah, we got a good 4 or 5 years here, we are learning stuff, and then AI kicks in. Hey, what did I learn all this for if AI is going to do my work, right? Are my certs valid, and am I going to get a job that's going to give me longevity? There are a whole new set of questions that are coming up that we need to answer them to.
And with AI, you have a lot of people that are so afraid of AI just because so many people in the big boxes, the talking heads, tell them that AI is going to take over your life and it's going to drive your car into a pole or it's going to do this and that. How do you tackle that thought process through people, and what are good things AI can do for us?
I mean, it's crazy to think, hey, AI is here and we're not going to have jobs. I think jobs are going to be shifting. I think there's going to be a small pain, no doubt. Displacement of a worker is real, right? But the kind of work that we are being asked to do, let me kind of take you there for a second. The more devices we have, the more AI we're going to do on those devices, more energy we're going to consume, right? And energy is not free, right? So we have to go build nuclear power plants. We got to build data centers that consume new types of power. And then we got to build those data centers out. And I don't believe we are anywhere close to having enough data centers in the country to serve all these new needs that we're going to have with AI. And somebody's got to go back in and dig,
Yes.
build those, put those cables in, and we call this a layer, layer one, which is classic. You got to put the copper cables, the fiber cables, you got to put those in. And yes, I know body hurts, and people may not want to go back in and do that kind of work. But when we hear those things like Big C is the certification programs for people who want to lay cable, and these are going into your doctor center, doctor's offices, physician centers, your health centers. There are a bunch of these going in. Well, you got to wire them up. I think you and I were talking about Internet of Things. Well, IoT is also getting smarter.
Right.
Everything is getting smarter, right? And they all need more, I would say, data. And more data means more surveillance. More surveillance means more data. And before you know it, this data needs more data, and we are consuming a lot of energy. So I think we are at a point where the new types of applications are going to be built. I call that an orchestration layer, right? New apps are going to be built on new layer. It's like classic 2000s when we had to build all this internet infrastructure. And then we built out this wonderful, there was an app for everything, right? And they used to say app for a realtor, app for a car. There was an app for everything. I like to believe there's an app for everything in AI too. And it's going to be new types of app. These apps are going to be, you're not going to have those classic user interfaces. You're going to talk to them, right? I would say interface less. Your interface is going to be voice. I think there's more and more that's coming, and we don't see it, and that's the problem. Because you don't see it, there's a fear there. The fear that, hey, what am I going to do? I think to overcome that, I would like more people to get started, play with technology, don't fear it, right? And if you don't have the start, just talk to me. And I'm going to give them a start, and they're going to do just fine. Whether it's ChatGPT or whatever on their phone, they'll do just fine.
I think if you can just use basic prompts on ChatGPT, you can do a lot of things with AI with ChatGPT. Just that little piece, Canva. You can do things on Canva. There's the Gemini on Google,
Right.
Apple AI, where I don't know what that one's called, but it's Apple something, and they have it. So everyone has their own version of it right now. But I think GPT is probably the easiest one for someone to learn just by sitting in front of it and asking questions.
The most interesting part that I worked on this over the last 3 weeks was creating what is called LS Lone Star soybean exporter. It's actually a simulator.
Okay.
And a simulator is sitting right inside of ChatGPT, is a custom GPT. And what you can do is, hey, if you were doing your compliance, and it's a cybersecurity compliance, ISO 27001 Information Security Management System, you can actually have a conversation with 11 people in the organization, right from CEO down to an ISO, Information Security Manager, all of them. And you're asking them questions, and it's coming back with responses, and it's all simulated. The thing is, you learn to engage an audience and learn to engage a company and get information out. And you are learning to confidently ask and receive information to complete your compliance work. All this done through ChatGPT, and then it's tracked. It tracks when you ask the question, and it also sees how you are learning along the way. And when I first presented it, they said, hey, can you use this for insurance agents? Can you use this for private wealth managers? Can you use it to train people who are going to enter workforce? Is it a great tool for career transitioners? And I tell you, it's just all through chat prompting.
Yeah.
And you create roles. And somebody said, look, take your phone and record yourself, use your mobile phone, record yourself, and just spit out whatever is going on in your head, and let it compile all that, and it's going to replay back into a nice little document or whatever else you want to use it for. Simple things.
It's so simple, it's scary.
Yeah.
That's what puts that fear in the mind. Wow, all I have to do is say 3 sentences, I can get a whole paper done in just 3 sentences. Wow.
Yeah. That's exactly it. The parity is going, so now you can compare with the best of the world. There's no fear, right? If somebody's producing a great paper, you can too. Yeah. If they have great language skills, you do too. So now let's change the game.
And I've used it to just give me I guess the translations from Spanish to English, English to Spanish, because I go to Puerto Rico a lot for work, just to give me basic stuff so I don't go down there looking like a nug when I get down there. I can understand some of what they're saying just by reading it off there and practicing what it tells me.
So not just uno, dos, tres anymore.
No, no, no. One more cerveza, por favor. All the good things.
Yes, it's all good things. Yes, yes.
You've seen David Willis jumped on here. He's from Homefront Sit Rep, another veteran podcast, great podcast up in Louisville, Kentucky. He'd probably love to have you on there, let his audience know about the things you're doing for veterans as well.
Sure.
So I'll share your information with him after we're done here.
Sure. Thank you.
A great Marine and a great friend of ours.
So
hoorah. Hoorah. He said, yeah, he says it all in there. So he does it all. Yeah, he's 100% Marine through and through. Great dude. When you were starting Divergence Academy, did you that was a transition for you to start the academy?
Yes.
How did you feel going from working corporate with basically corporate with Microsoft 14 years, then jumping in and transitioning into your own boss?
Oh, not easy. Not easy. I don't think it's still not easy, right? I think they say bosses get to make the decisions, right? And no decision that comes to my table is easy. So
Right.
These are not easy. But I learned a lot at Microsoft. They were a wonderful organization. I learned a lot from them. Every boss that I had kind of challenged me a little bit. And when I got out of the organization, I was ready. But what I was not ready for was how long it was going to take for me to actually earn a penny, right? And you invest first because you got some savings, you invest. And year one was not great. Year one was just initial year. Year two lasted, if I look at the numbers today, I think that's $70,000 is what I think made in year two. Year one was all about investing. It was not until year three, 2017, right, when we saw dollars coming in, and that not just because of our school. A good friend of ours also introduced us to Dallas College system, and Dallas College said, "Hey, for the services you are providing to the state of Texas and in the Dallas, the companies out there that are looking for work. So can you come and do a business development?" So I did business development. So I had a side gig and a business and all that to drive it to where we are today. I say the fear. So you don't know how long it's going to take, and you just have to stay in the game.
Stay the course and keep pushing forward, and you're going to have setbacks in everything you do in life. And
Yes, sir.
those setbacks, they're going to build calluses on you and make you stronger. So learn from what those setbacks were and just don't do that thing again. Don't do whatever that setback was and push forward and be successful like you have with that 90% stay enrolled rate. That's an outstanding rate. You won't find that in many colleges where 90% of students finish or stay within their college program for more than 2 years. So that's an outstanding rate to hang your hat on and keep moving forward. I know the decisions as a leader are never easy, especially when it comes to personnel. When you're dealing with people's livelihoods and lives, that's a hard decision. Dealing with direction of Divergence Academy, I'm sure it takes a lot of mental gymnastics for you to make you go forward.
Yeah, it's not just that. You wake up in the morning and you start to look at who is in this classroom, and you see somebody's not there, and you have to make that welfare call.
Right.
And some days are great, and some days you just hear what's going on in people's life. It's you take it for what it's worth, hope they're safe, and give them an accommodation and more. So there are days that you have wonderful, and then some days all these happen, by the way, in a single day.
Right. Every day you have new challenges. Every day there's something else that could go wrong and
Sure.
probably will go wrong, because nothing stays perfect every day. Everyone should understand that you have to learn to take all the good and drive forward and learn from whatever mistake happens during the day or whatever setback might happen during that day and stack those victories. Is something we say here all the time at MisFit Nation. You stack your victories daily and try to beat that tomorrow.
2 days in a week, I look forward to a Friday and a Monday.
Friday, Monday.
Friday and a Monday, because you want to go home,
Right.
And right at 5 p.m. something happens, right? Then you stay, and then you come back on Monday morning. The problem you were trying to solve is not resolved yet. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, wonderful. Hump day, even better. So
You got Taco Tuesday, you got the Hump Day. Thursday, it's Little Friday, so it's good. And then Friday comes, and oh no, and
exactly.
you got to make it to the weekend, and oh no, it's Monday.
Yes.
And that's every job. Friday and Mondays are the antsy days for the leaders, for the workers. I just got to get out of here today. Just got to get out of here on Friday. Don't make
You
any
know,
mistakes.
you know what's crazy, and is when I hear about, hey, there's a 4-day week coming. I said, when is that? And now I hear, I don't know which leader said it recently, a 3-day week is coming. All right, we're down from 5 to 4 to 3. So which 3 days am I going to work, and which 4 days am I going to be off? I really do not know, but I'm looking forward to that one.
That'd be great to learn that. I know when I was stationed in Alabama, our civilians got to work 410. So they either had the choice of 410s or 4 5/8. So they work 5 days and 4 days. But they had the decision they can make to do 410s, and most of them took the 410s and got off every Friday. So they had a 3-day weekend every week. And it took a lot for me to get used to not having anyone at work, just me and my boss, because we were the only 2 people in uniform. And we'd come to work, just us 2, and hang out. So everyone else was off.
So that's the part I think about, this AI coming in, and the work is going to get done faster. So which means you're going to work on another project the following week, and then you're going to do that faster, whether it's through humanoid, autonomous vehicles, or fleet of stuff. Things are going to get done faster. So the more work gets done faster, there's expectation that you're going to do quantity of more work. So I think there's going to be a fatigue again, just because of the speed at which you're doing the work. I think that's going to be the new challenge going into the AI world, is how are you going to handle the quantity of work and the quality of work and expectation that you're going to keep producing great work day in and day out. And I think that's where I think that's 3 days or 4 days, doesn't matter. I think we got to take care of ourselves.
Definitely take care and make sure that what you're doing is working, and keep work available for you to stay employed. And that helps you out a lot. It helps
Right.
your mindset and helps everything stay forward.
No,
We do have a
absolutely.
question from the audience. Where'd it go? There it is. It's at 10 plays $1. What inspired you to start Divergence Academy, and why focus on veterans? Thank you,
Oh,
10 plays for $1.
I appreciate that question. I always say, look, I never really thought about service members and veterans when I started school. Never. All I did was to say, hey, I want to actually help folks in career transition. That was it. My overarching goal was, how do I help folks in career transition with technology? I'm a geek. I'm a technology guy, and I love playing with technology. And a lot of questions that came my way was, hey, you made it at Microsoft. How did you do it? And who were your role models? Can you play that role model for others?
Right.
That was it. And next thing I know, and I'll just say this, what I said, I know you got to stay in the game long enough to even qualify to serve VA and service members. And I had to spend from 2015 all the way through 2018, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 years, right, to even get to apply for, I would say, state approving agency for VA, and get approved for one product, actually 3 programs. And cybersecurity was one of them. I would say you don't start that way. You always should start with a North Star. What do you really want to do? And then over a course of time, the people you surround yourself with and the kind of work you do, it leads you there. And then you just do a good job. And it happened. Service members happened, VA happened, and COVID happened. 2020 was, we all know, was a different year. And we moved into a new facility and a big space because we were doing well. And March comes, they said, you have to go remote. Okay, now comes another problem to solve as a leader. Say, hey, what am I going to do? Right? we just moved into a new place. They said, no, you don't need the space anymore. You can do all this work remote. Next thing you know, our phones are ringing. A lot more people at home. They all want to take training. Yeah. So we actually grew during the COVID time, 2020, 21, and 22. And so here we are to answer the question. So it did not start out that way. And where we are today, I'm super proud that we serve, and super proud that we are able to do well, and even better that we are still here to take the transitioning service members to new places, whether it's cloud, cybersecurity, or AI.
Nice. And the numbers that you've seen grow during COVID, have you sustained those numbers, or they leveled off somewhere else?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say its numbers are great, but I also say numbers are not poor, right? So remember what we got into, what we got in COVID time is remote delivery. People know that you can learn by staying at home and getting on Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and you can learn. Now, the benefits are that we use for service members. The GI Bill expects you to have students in the classroom. So now we created a situation where many of them who really would remotely are now saying, hey, I got to drive 1.5, 2 hours. And Dallas is not an easy place to drive in anymore.
Not at
The
all.
traffic's here. So now you're driving 1.5 hours, or 1 hour one way and 1 hour the other way, and you don't know if you're going to be in the classroom on time. So there's a little bit of contention there. There are folks that come in, they start way early and stay back for a bit, and then go home, and the traffic is lighter. But I would say numbers are not great, but numbers are not poor either. So it's a new normal. We just have to get used to it.
And that's a key word that we all started during the COVID time, was to say the new normal. And everything happened during COVID opened doors for a lot of new things to happen, like the
Yes.
work from home thing, like the let's do a hybrid work thing, so I can live in Tennessee but work for someone in DC and just fly up there once a month, maybe check in, and having that hybrid life. Or for you, having students that are in, say, Austin, taking classes with you in Dallas via that Teams meeting, and people have got very comfortable with the Teams meeting, with the Zooms meetings, and not being in large groups of people. But there's still that need for that social interaction. So it's good that you're able to still have people come in or get to see them once in a while and have that social interaction as well.
Yeah, my favorite time is the lunchtime, right? When people are sitting at their tables having a conversation. There's a cloud engineering class and a cybersecurity class. Students are sitting together and talking about stuff. They never engaged in a conversation at that high level. Hey, data center, your security, what does that mean? So you have two different groups sitting at the table and having that conversation. That doesn't happen naturally on remote Zoom call. You have to, you got to create that experience. It doesn't happen naturally. But whereas, when they're all together, the conversation is smooth, right? It's yeah.
One of your alumni jumped on there, Andrew Trevino, proud to be an alumni. Curriculum is perfect for how us prior service members learn. Thank you, Andrew, for jumping on.
Now we are super proud of Andrew. He landed a gig a couple of I would say 3-4 months ago. I think he brought one more. I think with 2 or 3 people at the same company. I'm proud of you, Andrew.
Wow, awesome. See, yeah, word of mouth brings people in there. I think there's one more in here on your LinkedIn that came in. His name was Robert. Yeah, Robert.
Deserance, yep.
Deserance.
Robert, greetings, sir. How are you, sir?
Evening. So they're jumping in off your LinkedIn, so it's awesome. I don't think they can see my comments when I put them in there. Thank them for jumping on. So that's why I want to make sure I mentioned them there, so they know that we see them and we're thankful for them being here. You're thankful for them being here and supporting you as well. Where do you see Divergence Academy in say 5 years?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. And the reason it's tough is this is a question that was asked recently of I think a CEO or a product manager of Anthropic, right? And Anthropic, which makes a product called Claude, and a Cloud.ai, just like ChatGPT's competition. And they said, look, I can tell you what the next 2 years looks like. I cannot tell you what the next 5 years looks like. The reason is, with AI coming in, the number of things we are all able to do and learn. The Sal Khan has Khanmigo, so you can play with a bot. You can learn through Khanmigo, sitting side by side. You're doing their quizzes and flashcards and all that stuff. You're learning with the Khanmigo, and it's a multimodal stuff. You can be writing and you're talking and you're working with a bot all at the same time. So the way education is going, right? We do not know what else an AI can do, and if the school, as we know, is still going to be the school that's going to be around, right? So I think we're going to morph. I think it's going to include all the things that I just talked to you about. Khanmigo style, and career services where you're going to have a bot assisting you, and a curriculum design that's going to be able to adapt to new ways of learning, and being there with the service member and others while they're doing the work in the flow of work. I think the change is coming to us at such a fast clip that I do not know exactly what the divergence is going to look like 2 years from now. And I know we're going to be serving a lot more people than we're serving today. I think we're going to be in more places, in more corners, that as a bot and sitting right next to you. I really don't know the quantity. I do not know how many, but I see us changing. That I can tell you for sure.
And earlier you talked about like the bot delivery services, like you see in the big cities. I think California had them in maybe LA and San Francisco. They're trying them here in Nashville. What are your thoughts on those bot delivery services, and are they going to take over, say, the DoorDash world?
I don't know. Do you want to manage a fleet of DoorDash vehicles? I think we all are going to become a fleet owners of some kind, right?
Right.
I don't believe these can run on their own. I think I saw one of those bots getting destroyed, right? I think and so you need to protect those too, otherwise your food is going to be lost in the crowd. So so whether it is food delivery services or I think Robo the new one from Tesla. I think they are all coming in. I think um, every time something is taken away from us, I always say, what is the replacement? I think replacement is going to be, we are going to be the Uber owners of those. And then what comes after that? What does the agency look like? Okay, what does the agency look like? I think agency of agencies. I think we are forced to think about all the problems in completely new sets of eyes. Right? Would you love to have a delivery in front of your house drop through a drone? What does a drone look like? What does a quadcopter look like? And I think our service members are in a better place, that they understand the components that make up a drone, the things that need to fly.
Yes.
I think that you talked about IoT. I think the world is changing right in front of our eyes, and I think we just say, bring it on.
Yeah, and I think we all get to sit on the bench and watch it grow, and then guys like you who are in the field get to see it right in front of your eyes and say, "Wow, this is mind blowing." From where I was, say, when you started at Microsoft, and then the 14 years to where we are now, how much things have changed, and even in the last 5 years, how rapidly things have changed is with the AI, machine learning, IoT, and then the cybersecurity world. Things are rapidly changing. They change all the time. As the aggressor gets more advanced, the other side has to get more advanced as well. It's the same thing with combat. You got to keep advancing, or you're going to get caught in the middle. So
it's like Demis. I'm going to give it a Demis Hassabis. He's a Nobel laureate and a guy who worked at DeepMind at Google, and he said, "Look, we have not solved the data problem yet. And whether you're collecting data through a drone or you're collecting data through your Robo-One or your fleet of cars, I think the more data we collect, I think I said we need more hungry. So robots, they're not 100%. I would say work on their own. Then they do self-correction. There's a reinforcement learning going on. So even though the body is moving, that it's correcting as it's going along. So those things are coming because of the data, right? We're feeding it information to make so that it can correct. So the more we do that kind of work, the more hungry it gets. So we are at a point now, we are doing voice, we are doing motion, we're doing video to text, we are text to video, and then motion, and where it goes. So just look at the number of ways data is being used. I don't think it's complete yet.
And I don't think it's going to be complete for a long time. And
yeah.
I think you said earlier.
Yeah, I had folks, with linguistic backgrounds. I said, look, I have a military and linguistics, and now they are getting an opportunity to do completely different stuff because they're learning in linguistics. Right? So just imagine that your skills are not lost; it's just being applied at a different place, differently, and that's what I'm going to keep talking about until cows come home.
Well, in Dallas, they might come home a little quicker.
No.
We got another question from the audience. This is here for the party. How do you ensure students are career ready in such a rapidly changing tech industry? Thank you, here for the party.
Learning to learn, and I have I've demonstrated this, and happy to get on a call another time and just show you my notebook LM, right? Notebook LM on Google, notebooklm.google.com, and I take and even at this I would say, hey, I've been around a long time in technology and I know how to learn. No, there's new ways to learn, and I'm learning all the time. So learn the concepts, and I think I had this conversation with my own son. He said, look, if you're going to go to school, learn the fundamentals, learn your history, learn your geography, learn your art, learn the domain, because if you know your domain really well, you can ask ChatGPT to assist you. Right? If you're just going to ask ChatGPT, I have an idea, and you really do not know your domain, ChatGPT will take you all over the place. Right?
Yes.
So know your domain, whatever that is, whether it's and I ask this question, hey, I'm 11 Bravo infantry. Tell me what I can do in terms of my career path. And my notebook LM actually walks them through the entire career path and roles for those in the infantry. And same thing, and everybody says if you are 25 Bravo, you are in communication, so you should make it into IT quickly. Yes, they too are having to learn new things. And so learning to learn is super important. We'll teach you that. And learning to anticipate how that change is actually going to influence your decision making, we're going to teach you that and give you the tools. And of course, we're going to get you certified. We're going to get you to Pearson VUE Test Center. We're going to give you a voucher. You can pass Network Plus and Security Plus and Linux Plus, all those CompTIA certs. But we're also going to get you to a path where you can now start thinking about GRC. It's a governance, risk, and compliance. Hey, what does governance, risk, and compliance mean? If you ever done risk management frameworks, RMF, and you've done a bunch of questionnaires and you've done your SOPs, you know how to do compliance work. So what does it mean in the civilian side to doing compliance work and risk-based work? We're going to teach you that too. So there are things that we can teach, give you opportunities to learn and work with others. If you're sitting at home, don't come to the campus. You're going to see others. I think that's what Divergence is about, and I think that's how we handled change, and that's how we have to handle change in future.
Outstanding. And have you got with like Wounded Warrior Project, who does some transition training as well, and they do a lot of cyber stuff with those 25 series, and other nugs can come in and get the classes to get all their certifications in computing. Have you talked to the Wounded Warrior Project about maybe partnering with them as well?
Yeah, a wonderful staff member, Kingsley Scott Jr., and he's not on the call, but he's Air Force Wounded Warrior, and he's got me in front of them at least twice.
Nice. So I know they do stuff here in Fort Campbell with the Wounded Warrior Battalion here. They get in there and they teach them right there within their footprint, so they don't have to go anywhere. They're right there within their barracks and get taught, and that's all they have to do during the day.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be anywhere you ask me to. And again, I'm going to just say the same thing without cows coming home, which is look, you are more empowered today with the tools you have. I think you just need to learn the tool, right, and use the tool well, and just give you and the tool is really AI. Make your AI your friend, and but at the same time, treat them like a junior enlisted soldier, right? And say, look, tell it what you want.
Right.
Give it that SOP. It'll do the work.
Give it the right purpose, motivation, and direction. It'll help you out in the end.
Correct.
Got to think 2 more questions from the audience in here. This one's a pretty cool name. At I Survive Gen X Child, what advice do you have for service members transitioning into cybersecurity or AI? Thank you, I Survive Gen X Child.
I think it's an and question, right? It's cybersecurity and or AI, because what I've seen is this more recent EC Council's cyber certified ethical hacker. They have CEH with AI, right? It's interesting. So now you're applying AI to cybersecurity. What does that mean? So you have both blue teams and red teams are applying AI, right? You have OSINT tools. Hey, how do you get to the intelligence tools and surveillance and all that good stuff, recon and all that work related to cybersecurity? How do you use AI to do the intelligence work? And it turns out that there's more to cybersecurity and there's more to AI. So the problem we have is AI is being used by both bad actors and good actors. So I would say if you get into cybersecurity, do not just jump into cybersecurity. Ask those questions. Where is my next threat going to come from? What is it going to look like? And I think I heard Rich say about IoT. How can the sensor be hacked? How can a satellite dish be hacked? How can I think there was a maritime security when I went to South Carolina, Beaufort, and they talked all about maritime security, ports and bridges. I think there's a lot to cybersecurity. It happens every single day at every ports and bridges. Now apply that AI, and you'll see that wherever you're starting from, I think there's an opportunity for a service member. Jump in, learn Security Plus. If you have clearance, you do qualify for work in 3-letter agencies. And then next thing you know is you have a start. Nobody can say you don't have experience. I know you're getting a start and doing work for 6 or 8 months, that's a start. And after that, everybody's going to say, I want you, because you have experience. Yes, the starts may be small. I know people, when people hear $60,000 or $70,000 your starting salary, and oh no, I need more. I said, look, let's do the math. $60,000 divided by 2,000 hours in a year, that's $30 an hour, and so, or $35 an hour if it's 70K.
Yeah.
Within 6 to 8 months after you start, do not be surprised if you get to 15% more. Right. So yes, if you exactly. So $35 to 40, that's a leap, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then you say, oh, that's only $5. But rember, these are jumps, 15%, 20% jumps. Nowhere in the industry, no other industry gives you 15, 20% jumps. So get started, get your Security Plus, get the clearance, get the job, you have experience. Before you know it, you'll be pleasantly surprised, I hope.
Outstanding. Hope that answers your question. And now we got one from at Murphy's Low. Divergence Academy has been nationally recognized. What do you believe sets it apart from other schools? Thank you, Murphy's Low.
It's longevity, staying power, constantly being self-critical, I would say. And I think I explained a few minutes ago, I can see what next 2 years look like. I do not know what the next 5 years look like. It's just being self-critical. Right? When the change is here for everybody, the change is here for Divergence too. So every quarter we evaluate where our programs are. We double check, triple check to see if our programs are pivoting or moving towards new areas of concern or new areas of opportunity. And that's being self-critical. And the other part is word of mouth. I think we have done well through referrals and word of mouth, and thank you for this opportunity here. And this is also going to get in front of other service members. And I do want to say, I know this is primarily for service members, but I also want to know anybody listening in, non-service member, for me, a career transitioner, I take it personally. It is, I want to help.
Yeah.
And that's why we are still here.
Yeah, we have a diverse group here, and it's a lot of veterans, yes, but we have some business leaders. We have a lot of people who are in different career fields than they want to be in, because it's the job they found. And this might be the thing that helps them step up and get that $35 an hour after getting those certificates and say, wow, I could have been doing this all this time and probably been making a lot more, but I will be in the future.
Yeah, for the leaders who are watching, there's a LinkedIn group I started called Cartoonist Thinking for Digital Transformation. What do cartoons have to do in a general pattern from the World War IIs and all those? If you look at it, they got to communicate through cartoons. And cartoonist line art, right? What does line art have to do with communications? If you are really thinking of something and you're struggling to communicate, line art works great. Draw it out, right? And then when you can communicate to line art, then you get to another point. Can I do line art onto my own personal images? Can I take your MisFitNation picture, put it on there, and have a line art actually draw it out? And I think there are so many AI opportunities there: communications, line art, transfer of image skills, copyright, IP, law, infringements, all that stuff you learn just through one concept, cartoons.
Outstanding. Wow. And one last question from the audience before we start our wrap up here. This is from at City South Stone 4. How can companies better support veterans and career changers entering the tech workforce? I think this is an opinion question. So.
I wish I had a great answer for this. With everything that happened over the last 3 months with the layoffs in big companies, it's hard for me to say, look, everything that is going on there was being the emotional well-being, the conduct has been great. I think and for the anybody lots of jobs, and I think what we got to realize is training. Those that are still around, I think they need to invest more in training. I think just we cannot drop them like a hot potato by the sideways and say, look, hey, you're not of any use for me. AI has come in, white collar jobs are at loss, and blue collar workers, they had to go back digging and building data centers out. I think there's got to be a balance, and I think there's this balance of who should be in the workforce. It's got to be a combination of work between government, workforce centers, employers, training institutes, all of us. It's an ecosystem. I think the ecosystem has to come to the party. They have to work harder to bring everybody in. There are jobs there. The jobs are just moved to a different location. There's a lot of work to do. And I think the work has already begun. It has begun. I want to see that speed up a bit. So I don't know if I answered that question or not, but I think it's the reality today that there is more work to do, and some have to step in and not just be on the sidelines. And this, I'm talking about workforce centers, cities, the governments, the employers. Yeah.
I think you answered it, because I think it was an opinion question anyway. So it was one of those softball questions. You can answer it any way you want. And I think you did it. I think you gave the answer they needed at this time. So outstanding. As we start to wrap up, though, I have two questions for you. I'm sure since you watched one of our shows just before this, you know what happens at the end here. What's the best way for anyone in the Misfit Nation to contact you if they want to just chat with you, or maybe get involved with Divergence Academy?
I think great place to start is on LinkedIn, and I'm always open for new connections. You can hit me up on Sravan Ankaraju, my first name and last name. So LinkedIn.com/IN Sravan Ankaraju. I think that we can drop the profile. The other one is just my email address, Sravana, SSAMRAVANA @divergence.one, and I will respond to every one of you. No issues there. The best is LinkedIn. Connect, the place you have one more connection in your network, and then have a conversation.
Definitely. And everyone, make sure you look them up on LinkedIn, because remember, if you're not LinkedIn, you're linked out. Get in there, grow that network, and maybe learn new things. Learn new things tomorrow that can help you in your future and get out of your own fear box. Our last question is probably the hardest one for most of our guests to get right away, but this one here: what's 3 things the Misfit Nation can start doing tomorrow to be better humans?
That is a tough question. I'm gonna try and answer that. And it's the, I think what you do today continue, which is the part that you're listening, the empathy piece. I think that's super critical, especially to this day and age when so much change is in front of us. Empathy. And number 2, overcome the fear of something new, right? I think we have to embrace new, and we have to accept it the way it is. So, and yes, there's a fear of a lot of things around us, lots of things. And I would say overcome that fear, and be opportunistic. There's a lot of opportunity. Be opportunistic in this day and age. Despite all the noise, I think those that are seeing opportunities, embracing new stuff, remove the fear, and being empathetic to humans, I think there is a lot of work to do.
Outstanding. Those are 3 great ones, 3 new ones that we don't usually get. So that's awesome. Thank you for taking 55 minutes of your time there in Dallas to hang out with us today in Tennessee and around the world with the Misfit Nation. This has been a great chat. I've learned a lot. I know the Misfit Nation has as well.
Thank you so much.
Misfit Nation, remember, a day tomorrow with you is 100% better than a day without you. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. We all know we're going through problems. We all have issues. Pick up a phone a friend, phone your inner circle. If they don't want to answer, dial 988. Take option 1 if you're a veteran. or follow the prompts. If those don't answer you, reach out to us at the Misfit Nation, info@themisfitnation.com, Steven@themisfitnation.com, or Jake@themisfitnation.com. All of us will answer you. We'll get on the phone with you and point you in the right direction. Till next time, everyone be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.